What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology, the Retold action. Yes. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Mediterranean builds, just some water builds for you to get yourself started. We don't want to be landlubbers. We want to enjoy the water as much as we possibly can. Going to jump in with Greek first. This works with Zeus. This works with Hades. This works with Poseidon. Don't worry about the Zeus. It doesn't matter. You can do this with any of the Greek gods. So first things first, we're going to put 3 villagers on food, and we're going to lure in our boars. You can do this on any map or any Mediterranean map, because you're going to always have boars in your starting line of sight. So definitely a way to kick off the game there. Following that, obviously one dock comes through, and then that dock villager is going to be moving over to gold, because we need to get ourselves an extra little bit of gold for us to get our temple, an extra 100 gold to get our temple. We're also then going to be getting ourselves 5 villagers on wood. That's the magic number for wood. You don't need more than 5. You need 5, and then you're good to go. So if your gold mine and your wood line are on a different spot, you can kind of switch the order up as to which villager goes to wood, which villager goes to gold. It doesn't really matter, but in the end, you need 5 on wood, 1 on gold. After that, once you finish the 5, you're going to get an extra villager on gold. That's just going to push that income up to allow us to get our 150 gold and our 150 wood as well, while affording everything. Also dropping a house at approximately 13 population here, so that we don't get housed is a good way to go about it. Continuing to lure these boars into our town center. We did get a little bit unlucky here, I think. The Poseidon player has lured our hunt, but don't stress, our pigs are going to be completely fine to be using here to advance to the second age as well. And probably even so far that if you don't feel comfortable luring in your boars, you could probably jump onto boars here as well. That's probably a way to make it work. So the next big thing is, when do we stop building fishing ships? It's around 5 or 6 fishing ships that we've built. We're going to be stopping, and then we're going to be able to get our temple up. It looks like I've gone for 5 fishing ships, and then you can see the gold comes in nicely, the wood comes in nicely to throw this temple up. We're going to use a gold villager for the temple. Definitely don't take villagers off wood or food to build this temple, the gold villager. And we're then also going to be building a house with another gold villager, because we don't need gold income anymore. We do need houses and temples, so we can use those. We need the food income to be advancing. So make that happen. As you can see, the game alerts us nicely here to get our house up, and I'm just going to chuck that one down. We are looking to get ourselves 9 fishing ships, and basically, I don't know if I said it already, after we've got the gold villagers and the wood villagers, we're going to put everyone onto food, and then that's going to get us our advance time. You could probably look for a 4 minute and 15 advance time here. If you can't nail it, 4 minutes and 30 is going to be completely fine. Picking gods here to choose which one you want to go for. I recommend either going for Athena or going for Ares here on Mediterranean. But Hermes could work and give you a little bit of delay, so you can maybe go for a later advance time with maybe some more docks and maybe some more fishing ships. But I think in general, that restoration or that pestilence, with in addition to the Minotaur / Cyclops, is really going to help you. Now, when you advance, you want to be putting 5 villagers onto gold and 11 onto wood, with 1 villager building ourselves this dock up. That villager then is going to return over to gold, and we're going to be able to build our ships straight away. Don't forget to build your houses, and then from here on out, you're going to be completely good to go into the classical age and into a water fight. Be careful of raids on the land while you're getting attacked. Be careful of all that good stuff. I'm not exactly sure how the meta is going to be turning out here on the water, so all you can do is make some stuff and see what's going to happen until people decide this is the best thing to go for. Anyways, we'll jump into the Egyptian one here. Egyptian can be done with all 3 Egyptian gods. You can go with Set, you can go with Isis, you can go with Ra. It doesn't really matter. I'm just going in with Set because it makes it just that little bit easier here. I don't have to lure boars in, except for the first one. I don't have to lure boars in. So I'm going to be converting those, setting them back to eat. You can still lure them in and maybe do something different with the priest, but this is going to be just a very lazy way to make it happen. So going to be jumping over here onto the wood. We get ourselves 3 villagers on food. It's really, really easy to remember. 3 villagers on food, 3 villagers on wood, 3 villagers on gold. And that's going to net us enough resources here to get to the classical age and get us enough fishing ships out with all of our docks and our temple and everything else. The important thing is, where does your pharaoh go? And it's going to spend the majority of the start of this archaic age on wood. Following that, we're going to go over to everything else here. So Pharaoh's going after that. After we get 3 villagers onto gold, we're going to be taking everyone onto food. And it's pretty much as simple as that. We don't need any more villagers on wood. We don't need any more villagers on gold. We're just going to be looking to get ourselves that 150 gold. And you can actually note this in the back of your head as well. It's exactly the same as on the land maps, in such that 150 gold is 2,850 gold remaining in your home gold mine. So you can use that as a little trick for the fastest possible temple to come up, so you can potentially get that one up in time for maybe 1 villager less of an advance time while you're doing this. So we are going to be looking for about a 415 or a 430 advance time. Now, I don't think it matters too much with Egyptian which one you go, because you're definitely going to have all 3 docks up. If your opponent goes for a fast advance and tries to rush you, you can just garrison your fishing ships and you're going to be okay. So 430 is totally cool here. But if you do want to go for the faster one, you might want to consider getting 2 villagers to build that temple for a little bit, because it just doesn't get up in time otherwise without heavily slowing down fishing ship production or something like that. So I'm going to recommend to do it this way. Just get 1 villager on the temple. I build a house here, and then the villagers are going to come over here and chuck that temple up, and we're all good to go. Now, you could throw that house down and then have that other villager build a temple. It will do that automatically there. But I think it's probably a better idea to just shift your villager back onto gold so you can have all that gold you need to get yourself the docks. Because you do want to throw down 3 docks here as well. Now, unfortunately, I didn't do that correctly. I put the villager over to the temple. Don't be me. Put the villager back onto gold, and you will have enough gold to get yourself hand axe, to get yourself 2 docks, and to have a really nice classical edge. You can see the temple is almost finished here, and I do have the resources to advance, so it is possible to do a 315 here. But I think, in all honesty, just go for the 430. It's completely fine. And you'll be right. So the gods to pick here, going to the classical age, you're probably only going to want to go for Anubis here. If you don't have access to Anubis, I would suggest going for Bast. I don't think the Ptah is very good here on Mediterranean, just because it doesn't really offer you anything in terms of support on the water. Anubis gives you snakes and an Anubite to raid, and Bast gives you a Sphinx to raid with Eclipse. So that can be really, really useful to get a whole bunch of villager kills going while you're fighting on the water. So that's very, very good there. The other thing is we're going to get both pickaxe and hand axe here with Egyptian to really help boost our income. I don't think we can afford that if we go for the 415. So I get a little bit more income here with the 430. Another thing we're kind of missing, which I would love to be able to squeeze into this build, but it just didn't quite work out, is a monument to the villagers. Now, we can always get that one later, but oftentimes we forget about it. So just, you might want to throw that in. Maybe put an extra villager on gold instead of so many on wood. But this is the kind of the Egyptian build in the end. We'll move on to the Norse build, of which you need 2 different build orders if you want to play all of the Norse gods. You need to have a Odin/Loki build, and you need to have yourself a Thor build. That's really, really important. So we're going to jump in here. So we're with Odin. We're going to put 3 villagers over onto wood. And then we're going to actually go straight onto the board. So this is actually a little bit of a tight build order, I'd have to say. Now, with Odin, it's going to be a little bit easier, but I wanted to show this one off with Loki because Loki doesn't have a hunt bonus. Odin not going to be tired at all. You're going to be completely fine because the villagers are just going to have that food coming in for you nonetheless. So we're going to go 3 on wood, 2 on food, and then we're going to go 1 gatherer onto gold to build the ox cart and then start mining gold, and then 1 dwarf onto gold to start mining said gold mine. And this is going to net us extra dwarves as well as net us the temple. The problem is that we're not going to have a whole lot of food safety net. So you will need to force drop a little bit here. The first villager is totally fine though, as that one comes in fine. But you will have to force drop the fishing ships for the second villager. So keep that in the back of your mind here. When you see that villager get to about 75%, you can force drop and you should have enough food there. And then your villager will also drop that food in for you on time. So just remember 75%. It's the smallest little bit and you're going to be totally fine. And then we're going to start building our dwarfs here. It's very important to get that dwarf in. Otherwise, you're not going to have the gold in the classical age. If you go all gatherers here with Thor and with Odin and Loki, those dwarves, those gatherers have a significant reduction in gold gather time on the mining camp. So very important where that's concerned. All right. So after that, after we've gotten ourselves the 3 villagers on food, the 2 villagers on gold, we do sneak an extra villager over onto wood to help us out on that fishing ship production. That's important. After that, we're just getting ourselves the dwarf, and we're going to go on to food here. So it's just a little bit of extra. It's 1 extra on wood, 1 extra on gold. That's really all you have to remember. And then we're going to come back. We're going to drop ourselves a house here. We're going to actually stop fishing ship production when we have 5 fishing ships. That's kind of important. So 5 fishing ships, build a house. This is going to feel odd because you're not close to the population cap here. But the problem is if you don't do this, you're going to get housed while you're building the temple. So we build the temple. We build the house, we build the temple, and then we start fishing ship production again. Still going to be able to get ourselves 9 fishing ships. You probably could build some more fishing ships, get the temple, start the house later. I don't know, but this seems to be a very, very safe way to get yourself to the classical age with all of the fishing ships. After this, we build 1 final dwarf after the temple finishes, and that's going to be us advancing to the next stage. We force drop our fishing ships while the dwarf is building, and then we also force drop our villages in the town center, and we're going to pick some gods to advance here. Now, I did click Heimdall there, but I would say no, I didn't click Heimdall. I actually cancelled it because I was like, nope. All right, so the best god to pick here, I think, is going to be Freya for the Norse gods. But if you don't have access to Freya, Forseti is your better bet. You're going to be able to use that healing spring to defend with underneath your docks. That's really, really strong. So keep that in the back of your mind. Freya or Forseti. You could probably go Forseti as well with Thor, and that would be another way to go if you want to play a little bit more of a defensive type of Norse on Mediterranean. That's going to be the way to go. But as we're advancing, you can see it's just 3 villages on gold, more than enough. Well, not more than enough, perfect amount on gold, and the rest just go onto wood. That's going to allow us to get ourselves 2 docks and potentially even throw up a 3rd dock here. So I throw the house down first. Probably, I can't really afford the Hearser, but maybe you could get the Hearser before getting hand axe, get yourself your house down, and you're going to be fine to start pumping out the buildings. But I wanted to get myself the hand axe out instead and go from there. So 3 docks down, building archer ships, building whatever you want here. Let's move on to Thor, which is the only other kind of god that's a little bit different from the other 2 because you start with 3 dwarves. So we're just going to throw those dwarves straight onto wood, exactly the same as the Thor Odin build. The only difference is here that once these villagers finish this first straggler tree, I'm going to want to move a dwarf over to the dwarven gold mine that I'm going to cast here. Now, Dwarven Gold Mine does, I believe, gather faster as you advance through the ages, so it is significantly better to drop it later in the game. But I think it's even better here to skip an ox cart because this is going to get us a really, really nice advance time to put pressure onto our opponents really, really early by being able to skip this ox cart. You might note that I said it really doesn't matter about skipping ox carts. On Mediterranean, it does. It's an extra 50 wood to build fishing ships with, and that's going to end up being a really, really big deal. Okay, so we went with 3 villages onto food, and then we start putting our villages over onto wood. So we're going to go up to 5, I believe, onto wood. Actually, 4, just 4 onto wood. It's different to it's the same. Excuse me, it's the same as Odin and Loki. I'm forgetting my builds as I'm going along here. Just going onto 4 to wood, and the rest are going onto food. You can see we don't need to build another dwarf here because we just don't. We want to be getting ourselves we want to be getting ourselves 150 gold to get our temple down. So just the 1 dwarf on gold, 4 on wood, rest go into food. And the cool thing here about playing 4 is we don't actually need to build our house before we build our temple. Now, I do cut fishing ship production here, I believe. Yeah, I do cut fishing ship production after 5 fishing ships to get the temple down. But now I'm going to be able to pump those fishing ships out straight away when I can afford them and be able to get myself my house down to not get housed. It's going to be completely fine. We're also going to be jumping onto pigs here. You could lure in other boars, but you know, I'm showing that if you don't really feel comfortable at this point doing that, you can play around that a little bit by just going onto pigs there as well. Pigs and herdables and hunt, there's not a huge difference in the gather rate of them, so it's probably not the worst of ideas to use them a little bit early. Anyways, getting some more villagers out, and the very last thing you want to do, I think, is when you get this final villager coming in at 23 population, just dump all your fishing ships, dump all your food villages, and then send everyone over to wood, and then send the dwarves over to gold. Now, the last villager that pops out here, what you want to do with this villager is you want to build an ox cart with it. You do not want your dwarves building an ox cart here because it is better for them to be mining than building because they get slightly more income than your gatherers. So it's just going to be a small efficiency there to get that ox cart out. Once you've got that 9th fishing ship in, the next 50 wood is going to go into an ox cart. The 9th fishing ship, the dock, and then a final ox cart. For some reason, I've left 1 villager on wood, on food. You don't need to do this. But yeah, we'll get the ox cart out and send it over to gold, and you should be fine here. It's a really, really quick advance time. If you ask me, I'm probably going to wager that of the Norse pantheon, Thor is probably the strongest god for the Norse water civs, just because of how good this advance time is. We do go for 2 docks. Another little cheeky strat you can do is drop an armory, get yourself out pierce armor, and that's going to get you a couple more dwarves in as well to help you out, as well as help you out on the water. Anyways, this is the build. If you guys enjoyed it and you want to become a very strong water player, definitely leave a comment, hit the subscribe button. My name is Boit, and I will see you guys in the next game.